welcome to the Nim podcast. This time it's a work report, so we are gonna tell you what we have been working on in January. To start, we have hired a new person, Miran, who's our man for everything. He's doing community management, going through pull requests and issues, and helping us with the documentation and the styling. And welcome, Miran.
Thank you. What did I do in last month? Or here is written what I did in last week, so I'll just go quickly through it. So my main work was on the documentation, and currently we have 17 modules that have improved documentation, and this can be reached at this link that you see on your screen. So this is the documentation of Nim Devel, and now five most used modules have improved documentation. So this is something that everybody should benefit from, but there is still much more work need to be done about it, and community contributions are very welcome. So if you're interested in contributing to documentation, see this issue 10.330. There you can see what else needs improving. Also, what has been done, this is what Arak has done, but I've put it under documentation, is proc names are now clickable. So when you go through documentations, not only you can click on, don't know if people know that you can click on types to see types definitions, but also you can now click on proc names, which allows you for easier sharing. And the last thing about documentation is the CSS improvements. This should be available soon, so hopefully documentation will look more modern and easier to read. Other than documentation, what I did backports to our version 0.19 branch, and this means that new stable release 0.19.4 is ready to be released. So in any day now it should be it should be released. It's just a small bug fix release, nothing new, so hopefully no new regressions. And other than that, in this time I fixed several small bugs, but nothing especially important now to talk about, so just bug fixes. And I think this is it for me.
Very nice. Very nice progress. I mean, we did a survey and people complained like the number one thing that Nim needs to improve on is documentation.
Yeah, and hopefully this year this will change. So
yeah, very nice. So now it's my turn. I tinkered a bit with control flow graphs and found a better way to implement them. The idea is mostly that to avoid the unstructured go-to command and replace it with structured control flow, which means that we actually have explicit join points in the graph where the control flow, it splits and it joins back. And that helps implementing several static analyses that we want to do in the future. Like we want to see if a variable is used before it's been initialized. We want to have more move optimizations to save copies on strings and sequences. And there's also more advanced stuff in the pipeline, like we want to be able to detect statically memory leaks. So I read a couple of papers and it's possible, and we will see. It's an enabling technology, so to say. It gives us it's the starting point for more advanced analysis passes. I've been working on destructors as part of our V1 plan. So yes, now the Hello World program works with in the GC destructors mode. But the work needs to continue. I need to test more programs and fix more bugs, but it was nice progress. I fixed the parser bug that's been so in the old Nim, this was parsed as the same as this without the space, so it would be kind of like array indexing. But now it's parsed. Now it's consistent with the echo, and this is it means call the function f with the array, and the same for the echo. So this was a bit of an old oversight, or maybe we didn't want to go the full way until now with the syntax. I also figured out how async can work without producing cyclic graphs. So if we only have reference counting as the way to deal with memory management automatically, then async code doesn't start to leak memory. So that's also quite useful for this destructors-based work. And I created yesterday a pull request to unify Charax's DOM module with the standard libraries DOM module, because people reported that Charax had its own module for dealing with the DOM in the browser. And people reported that it's annoying that we have both DOM and KDOM. Charax called it KDOM. And hopefully soon this issue will be resolved. Okay, that's what I've been working on, and now it's Arne's turn.
Hello. I worked on with Arak on video to demonstrate how to use the GDP debugger, because I worked a lot before in the past to make GDP debugging a better experience, and I think there's too little tutorials and documentations about GDP to generally use it, and now we have a specific one for Nim, which is a big advantage. So then I worked a bit on quote AST, because I think the quote
the existing quote do.
Yeah, the existing quote do from the macros modules to introduce untyped syntax trees as an argument for macros has flaws to generate them. And I created an RFC and a proposal implementation to test out if my RFC works. And currently I think it's not ready. It has its own problems, but it seems to work well. But I think we need some specific quoting operator to not conflict with anything else in the language to properly do this. And I think it's worth going in that direction, because first of all, Lisp does it as well. Lisp has its own quoting operator that doesn't conflict with anything else. You can pass any AST to a macro and restructure it. And I think we should go in that direction as well, because it has little conflicts with anything.
Yes, and let's not forget that you started working on this because you went through the issues and saw that quote do has plenty of open bugs, right?
Yes, there are several bugs. I think it's around 8 or 10 issues that would all be fixed. and with this new quote AST.
Yeah, nice.
I think it would be a simpler implementation that has also fewer. The new implementation is easier than fixing the old implementation. So then I was working on line info object to set it for. This was a result of working on the quote AST. Currently from macros, it's not possible to set the line info for a node, and I implemented that so that line info object is settable. I'm not sure if it's a PR or merge, but it already exists.
No, there isn't a PR for this yet.
No PR for it. Okay, but okay, then I should probably do that. Then I did some fixing on AST pattern matching. This is currently just a Nimble package, but my plan is to make this an official library. I'm not sure if it should be part of the standard library, but it should be a recommended library for more people to use because it's so versatile.
Yeah.
Then I did this. The last thing is I have an old project where I compile Nim to GLSL to execute Nim on the graphics card. I fixed bugs or regressions that were introduced because of changes in the Nim library, in the Nim language. And last but not least, I was working on VM bugs. Initially, I was trying to fix 32-bit bugs because tests are still failing on the 32-bit platform. And I found out that many of them are results of bugs on the VM that don't appear when you only use 64-bit values. But when you use smaller values like 32-bit values on the VM, or specifically 32-bit signed integers, there were problems with it, and they are fixed now. And I did some work on stack traces. For example, the not causes stack traces to contain a location for the not implementation when you don't care for the not implementation. You want to know where the not equals operator or the not equals template implementation. That's it, not the not. The not equals.
Yes,
and
so maybe to expand a bit here, when you write A is not equal to B, this gets translated by a template into not A is B, but the stack trace might point into the declaration of the inequality here, and that's not helpful because the inequality doesn't crash, but usually, well, A or B if it's a pointer dereference.
Well, mostly it is when you have a crash in A or B. When B is an expression, for example, B is a call to a function, and B crashes.
Yes.
Then in the stack trace, you see the function crash here, but when it's at server positions, you don't know where it is. Then you want to know where the crash here is, and then it just points you to the template of unequals of the template implementation. And what you want to do is you want to know where the crash here is written.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a much better explanation. Yes.
And generally, it's a good idea when you have a template to have the stack trace pointing to the template implementation. But for some templates, it's better to not point to the template implementation. For example, when it's just a forwarding template, then it's better to point to the location where the template is instantiated. And I was working on some simple heuristics in the compiler to say, hey, this is a template that is not worth going into the implementation. People don't want to see the implementation. People want to see where the template should be expanded.
So yes, that's one way of dealing with it, a heuristic that just does the right thing. The other way to fix it, which is much harder, is to introduce another stack frame, like the template should have its own stack frame, so that then the stack trace contains another line where actually where the instantiation of the template was done.
Yeah, I think we don't need this. I think it's best to have control for the template, to flag the template with a pragma or something that says this template should not create local line information. It's just a forwarding template, a decorative template. Another example where it matters is in the compiler, in the virtual machine.
Yes, that's true. And also, if we avoid this stack frame for templates, then that's the better solution for GDB support as well, because GDB doesn't have frame information for these templates anyway. So
yes.
it would also improve the GDB experience at the same time.
Yes, I was mainly doing for the GDB experience. And maybe we should be able to compile at some point without the Nim stack information when we already have them from GDB. But that's... at the moment, I don't care. It's just an idea. But anyway, that's what I was working on. Okay, we don't need to discuss this now.
I forgot one thing that for some reason didn't make it to the list, but people probably will enjoy. And that is the Docken supports Markdown. Well, the features of Markdown that I considered worthy. So the link syntax, the syntax for section headings, and what the backticks means changed. So these three things really. I think it's.
Well, maybe you should say it supports core Markdown features.
More Markdown features.
More or
no, the problem is Markdown isn't really. So the single backticks now represent source code.
Do you also have nesting backticks?
No.
No nesting backticks. Okay.
I didn't know that Markdown supports that. So now that you tell me, I can think about it.
I'm not sure if it's specified in Markdown, but I know it works on GitHub.
Yeah. Okay. The thing is, Markdown isn't really specified clearly. There are tons of extensions that not everybody supports, and it's also very close to RST as well. So these dashes here for the bullet points is RST as well. The backticks were already RST syntax, and so we can find a nice middle ground. And it's not. It's not people call it an abomination to support both at the same time, but I disagree because they are really close.
Yeah. Do you also support triple backtick language, triple backtick for source code blocks?
Yes, but that we did support for quite some time. But it wasn't enabled. Now it's enabled by default.
Yeah, that's good, because I don't like the RST syntax for source code blocks.
I think I have to agree. So this is what we've been talking about. This should also work, yes. And I also already got bug reports about this that I will look into, but yeah. Okay. That's what we've been working on this last month. Upcoming month we will progress with the destructors features and the documentation, and hope to produce a new stable release rather than just a bug fix release. This will also change the AST slightly again, so that documentation comments are part of the AST properly, so that macros can read them and set them. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.